everybody, it's Cinnamon Coney, your Art Sherpa, and this is the Patron exclusive live. So, as per your vote in our Patron only group, we gave you a bunch of pictures to pick from, all of which I was like super pumped to paint. And you guys really love this really gorgeous soft sunset with this sort of like crash pirate ship and waves. And I was like, woohoo! Because I really wanted to do that, but I want to be able to do this in a more relaxed way than I might possibly do on the YouTube channel. Because as you guys know, we're under sort of these weird time crunches. Some other cool things. Guess. Oh, I got to turn myself off.
I'm here too. Hello, guys.
All right, so my sound is off.
I'm gonna get coffee.
Sue Clark says hi, Sherpa. As does Barbara Z. I see Patty and Katie and Art by Kim Ann. Guess what? I got my phone and I'm looking at what you guys are saying.
I'm gonna go get my coffee. Okay.
No,
Cinnamon?
you don't have to. What?
I'm gonna go get my coffee.
John's gonna go get his coffee. So here's the deal. We live in a historic neighborhood. And in a historic neighborhood, what they really mean is that every once in a while, weird things happen to our power and our water, pretty much our infrastructure. And when our power has a bobble, our cameras lose their preset programming that John does. And so they want to do these. If you've ever seen our camera just sort of like wander across the screen, like it's confused about where it's supposed to be, that's what's actually happening. And I see Mark is here, and he said, "Arr!" And I see Craig. So I'm excited about this. So I'm going to have a little bit of chat. We're going to putter along. I don't know if this is going to be a one and done or if we're going to just really kind of drill in and try to take this to a kicked up level. Because I want to do stuff with the patrons that I don't dare do on the YouTube channel because of the way the algorithm works. And I know we talk about that a lot. Every YouTuber talks about that a lot. We only do because it's like we all have PTSD from the algorithm. And we're all like people who are like, did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? It was so big and so scary. And it did all these crazy things. And we're all still here, but we think it might be back. I know we all sound like that, but it's really like a thing. And so these kinds of events let me paint subjects that I wouldn't normally paint. Like, again, we're going to do some figure painting. It lets me maybe slow down and break it down if I deem that for your benefit, for the benefit of the painting, we need to take up a segment, really drill in on it, and then come back. And also, I can even get like some progression pictures during and make sure you guys have that uploaded on the page. Just little extra weird things that I might do if we were in a classroom together more than a bum-ba-da-bum-ba-da-bum, reviewable, watchable YouTube thing. So still getting our sea legs on me, mateys, as they would say, because, you know, we're figuring out our tech system and our YouTube and how to get the patrons' messages correctly and how to do stuff. Yeah.
Funny to see myself come across the screen in the delay.
Okay, and so let's see. Do what you need. Yes, this is so real. Stephanie and I often talk together about how evil the algorithm actually is and how mean it's out to get us. So, yeah, I noticed that there's some conversation. So a text was sent out on their old system.
Can we explain?
Yeah, John's going to explain while I kind of prep and get my mental state ready for this beautiful lesson. And he'll explain to you what happened with our text system.
You got your coffee over there?
I got my coffee over here.
And then you got your surface over there?
I got my surface. I got everything. But I'm going to put out my materials and talk for a second because I am speculating when I think about this particular color.
Yeah. All right. So what happened is we have a cool text messaging system. And right now, it's based on how you guys sign up for it. So you send a text in and you can sign up for it. So if you send Sherpa Patron, all one word, to 33222, then you got this text. So some of our legacy patrons had access to that number. So a handful of them got some of these texts. And what'll happen? And so you guys are welcome to join us today. So,
we got company, but we can. You know what? This is family style eating. Yeah. We can always scoot over and make room for one more.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be the thing is that we're always going to be able to scoot over and right there you are. Make room for. I don't even know what camera it is today. Make room for one more. I think is the mentality.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, I have some technology that's coming along. So pretty soon, it isn't going to be based on that sign up system. So if it will only send you that text if you've signed up through the $25 system on our website. So just for these patron exclusive lives,
the rest of the stuff is just the same.
Yeah, our legacy patrons, we still do other legacy patron stuff, and you'll get notifications for that. So we're just going to be separating that up a little bit more.
Yes,
that's all.
Yes, we are. Well, because we're moving to the
more automated system. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to talk to you guys a bit about this color here.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Which one?
Right here.
Okay.
This weird color here is very weird color. And this is a weird color. If you watched the Silky, you know it like messes with my mind. So I have kind of a thought about how I'm going to get there. The materials list does not reflect the number of paints I'm going to be using. I'm going to be editing in that, and I may add one of my personal secret power weapons in there because as patrons, I can show you things, show you color, show you paint, show you techniques that, again, I wouldn't normally do on the show, and give you kind of a more accurate insight into my process. So this weird purpley putty pink color, I'm going to try to get to it, and I'm going to do that a strange roundabout way. So over here, I have my Naples yellow, which is really PY53. It's really nickel tight-knit yellow. I don't know why they all have to name it something different. In this particular line, and right now it is in the description, this is the color. It's 568 Series 2 from the Acrylic. You could also get Golden's nickel tight-knit yellow, which I think is very good. And I've talked a lot about it because every once in a while I have something I call Naples Gate come up, which is when I use the word Naples yellow and everybody buys the Band-Aid color. So I have Naples yellow, ultramarine blue, quinacridone magenta, and some titanium white. The reason I have these two is I want a purple. I want to have a purple, but I don't want to have a Diox purple because it's just too powerful. So I'm going to mix these two and get myself a nice little purple going. As you might be well aware, we can get with ultramarine and quinacridone magenta. And you can see even in this mix, it's very different than dioxazine, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a much more subtle color. And so what I perceive will happen is if I mix these two together, and it looks like I have called it pretty well, I'm going to get a spectacular color for the background. Woo, look at me go.
Yeah.
I'm so awesome. All right. So that's going to be most everything in the upper third. And you know me, I like to make my horizon line level. I have a wish on here because in Patron group today, we heard about Patty's hand being hurt. We have two Patties. But Patty's hand was hurt, and so she wasn't going to be able to join us. And so we want to wish her hand a fast recovery and great doctors and her to be back into her painting legs. And then, of course, I wish tons more patrons to the group. And look, already that was gifted to me because I wrote that down and then John text notified everyone.
We got more to come.
So a little warning about law of attraction. You do that, you got to be kind of careful with it. I'm going to come up a little above the third, and I'm going to go ahead and use my watercolor pencil to make a line across here, I feel. And I might even raise this up just maybe 1/4 of an inch. And I'll tell you the exact measurement I end up settling on. I want it to be just below the halfway point of this. So when I'm not messing around and gridding and everything and I'm just painting, this is sort of how I do things. All right. So on this, right, the halfway point is 5.5. And so right here I have just a 6 1/4 almost is where I put the horizon line right there. And I like that. So I'm going to leave that there. Good to have straight lines, but I'm going to hold those straight lines. Guess how? How I've always held my straight lines with tape. Now, I stopped using tape on the show. I'll tell you totally candidly why. Because I got a lot of complaints.
You stopped using tape because of complaints?
Yes, I did. I got so many complaints that people felt they had to go buy artist tape that I was just like, fine, we'll just freehand it. And so sometimes I'll do that, I'm like, if it's going to aggravate everybody, I'm like, all right, you don't need to use tape. But my honest truth is, I wouldn't normally paint a horizon line unless I had a tape.
Tape is very handy stuff.
It's super handy stuff. And I don't want to do it without tape. I don't know why anybody would want to. That is my thing. I'm definitely going to be using my 2-brush blending method to start working in this gorgeous sky.
I think it's safe to say here, we can talk about the fact that we believe that you need to use good materials to get good results.
Yeah. Yes. I'm so sorry I left my other brushes in the kitchen. Do you mind if I go grab them?
Go get them.
Okay, cool.
Bye-bye.
Patron live.
Bye, Sherpa. She disappeared. The Sherpa gone. Disappeared through the fabric of time. And we'll look over here and wait for her to come back. She'll be back as she went. I'm sure we can hear her. She's just not talking to us. Just in the other. We have a wireless system, which is why she's no longer tethered.
I'm back somewhere. Where am I back? I'm here. Okay. All right. So I have all the brushes that were laying flat and drying. And I'm going to get my big brush right here. And I'm going to start working this in just because I want to work big areas. Let's get the Wonderful Wishes. You can see I picked a color that would blend really well into the paint we just mixed. That worked out well, didn't it? And I'm going to go ahead and kind of like lightly moisten this surface. And I'm not going to mind that there's that mild amount of purple pigment in there. And the reason I'm not going to mind is because I have purple pigment in there.
You're going to moisturize your canvas?
I am a little bit, and start putting this wonderful, crazy color out. First layer. Because I want a real blended sky today.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm going to get a little more of my Naples into it as I'm coming up.
Doesn't that gray it?
Yes. And it's kind of a weird gray sky in this right now. If you look at it, it is a bit of a weird gray sky. I'm blending this back down. So right now, what I'm doing is just like a traditional gradient blend. I'm just trying to get that architecture of it there, and I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to do a second coat. If that makes sense. And it should, because I just explained it, so how would it not?
I don't know. So, hello, all of our friends. Thank you for coming and being with us today. It's pretty awesome to have all y'all hanging out. I know, Cinnamon and I, this is the really cool, like, we get to just hang out with you guys and, do this live. Oh, look, there's you guys over there in the little corner. You can see there's the delay of the broadcast right there. So, anyway, my camera, playing around with it. I don't know if I should tell you about this whole heat thing you should be avoiding if you're drying your surface. Because heat is bad, in case you haven't heard. I might have said it before.
Yeah, it's not as bad as we make it out to be on the pro paints, but what we find is, like, if you don't go that direction, then it's the newest people that suffer the most.
Yeah, it is.
If that makes sense. Like, if we don't say it, the very newest people that got a gift for Christmas, where the paint was like maybe 25 cents a tube, they're going to really see the color shift.
Yes.
So we say that a lot for them. You guys painting with Golden or Holbein or Matisse or acrylic, if any of you have decided to try that, y'all know that's not your experience. I'm going to go ahead and get a little more of this not so crazy purple into that wonderful mix. It's really a lot of fun, isn't it? What a good putty this is. And I'm going to be going back and forth. I'm really probably not going to use any retarder or slowing agent or blending agent at this stage. I think I'm going to just use...
That smoothed it out a lot, because beforehand it was kind of spotty, and now it's all smooth.
Yeah, it's getting smooth, getting those coats in, getting that idea, that sky in, because we want that really great sky. Now I'm going to continue to add some of my this light Naples yellow light that I have here, right here. And then even as I go up, I might add some more white.
And I'm going to ask
And I'm going to be super careful with this particular paint with my water, because it tends to be a little water sensitive, if that makes sense. I love it, but it is water sensitive.
Now, I'd like to ask everybody.
I don't need to do another blend on it. It's kind of almost perfect.
It did turn out
I was going to show you like a perfect 2-brush blend, but it did its blend on its own.
It auto-blended.
Of course. Always, like on my studies, always on the practice painting, everything goes perfectly.
That's awesome.
So you guys are getting that luck, it seems.
Yeah.
Again,
you gonna dry it?
I'm going to dry it.
Okay, I'll ask.
There's going
them
to be
while you're
drying.
So, I would like to know who of you got the text and whether or not you got the picture text. So, I sent out a new kind of gnome for our patrons. We're testing some of this stuff out. And I'm going to try to start sending patrons out a photo notification of the lives that we're doing. So, you'll have to let me know in chat here if you got your notification and if it came in correctly. So.
Oh, do we have, like, where is my Phthalo? I see my Prussian, but weird. Okay, it's got to be the turned over tube. Oh, it's always the turned over tube. I'm going to put out some Phthalo blue and some of my other colors I expect I will be using in my sunrise. Now, I'm going to hit you with a weird new color. If you don't have it, you can just use your Quinacridone magenta like you always do. But I want to introduce you to one of my very favorite other colors in the Quinacridone family. And frankly, I think every Quin color is just brilliant. This is Quinacridone Red. I get it from the M. Graham and Company. I'm going to try this company's line in the Quinacridone. I love it. I just have stopped adding colors to the palette on the YouTube show because, again, people will freak out about the expense and everything. I'm going to put out some Indian yellow, which you know I love. But it weirds them out, and so I don't want to do that. I want everyone to paint. So I don't want them to go, oh, I'm never going to do that because of some silly thing when it's just easy enough to avoid it. But you guys, I can totally experiment on it. Hopefully that's okay. All right, let's see what's going on. Okay, everything's good.
Good.
Somebody said it's at the cool kids table. I like that. So I'm going to start kind of working in some of these details of that sunset. I'm going to play the shocking nature of the phthalo blue against everything, and I'm going to probably work it in with one of these little fellows, the Cabridge Brights, the number 8 Cabridge Brights. I do genuinely like them. And I'll go ahead and take a little of my Quinacridone Red into my Indian Yellow, a fantastic little color mix, and see what a great, yummy result I'm going to get using my tinting white, which is really my zinc white. There's this wonderful glow coming up I didn't want to lose. And you got to use some great colors to get a good glow. Get more into the tinting in my Indian Yellow. And just really start to play with those shapes and that concept. And then like just off center here is where our sunset is. So I'm going to begin to wiggle this brush back and forth, making this little keyhole. Whenever I'm painting a sunset, though, when I'm painting, I want to take it further than even the reference. Because real natural sunsets are rarely as just delicious-tastic as I would like them to be. Get a little more of my... And you can see when just adding that tinting white, which is really the zinc, just really helps us get just some subtle picked up colors that the titanium seems to want to really gray out. That's pretty. So ask as many questions as you want because I do understand that this might be like, oh, this is crazy. I'm going to get a little of my purple here now and my tinting and kind of begin to work these edges a little bit while everything's still kind of wet. And then you can see I'm just brushing back and forth and almost glazing or doing a blush on the canvas. I'm trying to be like, yo, hey. A little more of this purple this way. Fun stuff. So what makes this all work is these colors are all pretty transparent glazes. And I just do like this over the top blending thing, not dissimilar to what you might have in your eyeshadow if you use eyeshadow. Just fussiness. And you can see the fussiness is helpful. And then where I want to like soften it right here, I just go over with like a very barely damp brush, and you can see that softens the edge quite nicely. You can also soften the edge with a little bit of your transparent white. And then we're going to take a little look at that and get into it. I really want to encourage you in these sort of patron things to do things like step away from your surface if you can, like as long as you're mobile, and take it in from a distance. I'm going to come here and just continue to play with that. And you can always, I think, get a little of the Union Yellow into the tinting, and I feel like there's a bit of a glow above this too that I'm seeing. And I like to take those and go, how much is there? Let's play with it. But it's such a dusting. I don't know. Can the camera pick it up, babe?
Yeah.
Cool. This is what I just for fun like to paint. Just for fun. All right, I'm going to stand back. I'm going to look at it. You guys stand back and look at it. All right. So there's some conversation about the yellow, and I would say Patty's given you the best advice, Katie. If you look for PY53 is the pigment code, that is always the yellow. They call it a bunch of crazy things, which has made it an issue to use on the show. Because they just want to name it all kinds of things, and nobody wants to agree. And I asked the guys at Golden, like, why isn't there like a set Naples yellow? Like, what's historically true? But as we're learning from book club, some of that stuff isn't known anymore.
And some
I'm
of it
just
is
taking some more light values in here, and
based on who wrote history.
some of it is based on who wrote history.
So there you go. That's some interesting stuff.
Always some interesting stuff. So I can always get back in here and just kind of brush mix some more really good purple, which you can kind of pull out with your tinting white to keep playing with. And I'm going to just create, I love these little soft cloud forms. See, I'm just on this toe of my brush to get that little soft cloud form, and I'm getting to stand back a little bit from my easel. Sometimes what happens to me is I get so into the brush stroke, I forget what it is that I was painting, and I paint a lot more of it. I don't know if you guys ever have that experience. That's a thing that I do. I'm like, this is so fun. I'm going to paint a lot more of it. Nice.
Oh, it's
now,
so...
I'm going to get some of my ultramarine and my phthalo blue, and I mix them together. It kind of just calms it. So it's still a nice bright color, but it's not so bright as like the phthalo. A little bit about here. I'm just painting the beginnings of these distant little cloud friends. And we want to we're making sunsets like this. We want to never miss the opportunity to punch up the drama of the sky. So always just come in here and be like, I'm going to punch up that drama. And I can mix this. This is wonderful. I can mix that right into my purple, and it creates just, look at that, like a periwinkle. Yeah. Things that I love to do.
Now, is everybody here part of book club?
I don't know. I wonder how many people here are in book club.
Well, but if they're here, could they be in book club?
Everybody can be in book club. Book club's an open activity.
Okay, so guys, if you're not in book club, you should be. It's because I'm not like super into being in front of the camera, so I'm always behind the curtain listening to the Sherpa talk.
I tried to get him to be in book club with me, but he was like, he panicked and said no.
I'm there, not just in spirit. I'm just behind the veil, literally.
Just behind the veil.
Just where I always am, just behind the veil. So, that being said, book club is really cool. So you guys should come and join it. I get to hear Cinnamon talk, and you guys go. It's just really cool. I enjoy listening.
I'm just adding a little bit of my tinting white here. Going to help me create that crazy kind of smoked, fogged transition from the glowing horizon.
You know what, Cinnamon?
To where I am. What?
Book club is the way I get to enjoy watching our channel.
Is it?
Yeah, because I'm so in like running the show that I don't really. I mean, like other than when I space out and am just sort of listening to you and kind of, I'm in my own spaced out zone where I'm not. It's
true.
I don't get to sit back and enjoy the show as much.
I feel like you get stuck with a lot of the show. Like, it's a lot of your whole life. So I appreciate that you have any part of it you want to be a part of. That's always nice to hear.
I have to say I'm pretty blessed.
You're not like running out of here going, no more.
Well, because of
powerful stuff here.
Because of you and the generosity of our patrons, I have the opportunity to build a process by which we can propagate free art to people who need it. Art education, well-being, and this is awesome. So I'm very happy to do this.
It does feel good, doesn't it? So see how we're just working these little transitions. I'm going to get back from this and see how I'm going. If I like it, is it bright? Is it pretty? Is it glowing yet? And it's not quite glowing yet. We got to pop it up. We got to bring it up. Like you want to. So I'm going to come here and I've got my wonderful purple into my wonderful Naples yellow that we do. But I'm going to add this time a bunch of my really strong and powerful titanium white. And start to play with those values that we're seeing in that upper half of the sky. Skies are, you should, when you're really, really painting, I cook along, but you should be spending quite a bit of time in your sky.
Yeah.
That's a thing you should be doing to get those really punched up results. You should be tweaking it. You should be adjusting it. You should be like, oh, can I pop this up? Can I take this further? Can I work this more? Just constantly. I love these brushes. Constantly. The brush guys have these, I think, the cheapest right now. That's why I put them in that Explorer set that I have.
Yep.
I did it. I love all the purples that I get from the Quin and the Ultramarine. They're some of my favorites. Just on the corner here, and I'm just sort of dry brushing a little to blend into the wet, and I'm buffing, and I'm just trying to play with those transitions that we've got going on. Popping up that saturation and helping that sky be maybe brighter and more. Extra. Make your sky extra.
Extra.
Now, in the effort of making things extra, Quinacridone. If you haven't seen it, when you mix quinacridone with white, it's quite a different color than anything I ever show on my channel. It's so saturated and so pink. Really perfect as a sunset color, as a flower color. Color you definitely want to have in your paint box if you can. I'm going to bring some of this down here because I know I've got some of that pink that's peeking in there through this space, isn't it? Are you guys kind of tripping on the pink?
I am.
Love this one so much.
This is really pretty.
I used to be much more primary with this color. It used to be much like a really critical part of my palette. I'm going to bring some of this great color in through this cloud system here. Kind of just show that it's broken up and you know, where I need it to be more in the red, I can always just add more pigment and you can see it just takes it up. Doesn't it? And starts to make it just super pink. Haven't even pulled cadmium or anything else
keep
into
thinking
it.
you're going to go get more paint.
I'm just all in that pink, you know.
Yeah.
Like you get. And it helps the other colors feel like themselves, I think. Bringing that around. A little keyhole of pink. It is just such a standout in our sky. That's a lot of how I got the effect on the Patron painting that I did.
Yeah.
Was the Quin colors. Which is why that probably would only, if I ever turned it into a tutorial, would only ever be on the patrons as a tutorial. Unlike everything else, I can lighten this mildly using my tinting white. Involved sunset, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Just coming back and looking at that. It's all, again, always get back and look at it and be like, what do I need? What do I want? You should be messing with your sunsets for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. More of my tinting white. And lost my cap again, as I do. The aggravation with these brushes, you really have to get the water out of them between uses. All right, gonna get more into my nice Indian yellow. You can see, wow, isn't that just wow? Quite something.
Now, are we gonna paint this whole one in today?
I don't, you know, I'm gonna, here's the thing. For the patron paintings, if you guys are cool with it, I want to just move through these like I would do a painting, like I think you should do a painting, like at a reasonable pace, at a reasonable thing. So if we have to meet up a couple sessions for patron painting to take it to the level that I think everyone's trying to take something to, we do that.
Okay.
Sometimes we might have short little easy ones, but sometimes, like right now, if you guys go in, if you're in the monthly, you guys have that bonus rose lesson. That bonus rose lesson, that's pretty easy. Pretty one hoot. So I might throw those up in there, but then we might have these more involved ones. So that's what the thinking is. You guys let me know what you think of that thinking.
Okay, I think I can't imagine that's a issue.
A problem.
But if anyone raises it, I will let you know.
And that is even a thing that comes up, right? I'm going to start to think about the area where the sun might be more centrally focused through here, as you might do. And then I'm going to really have some fun and get a little of the, oh, look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's like a candy color, that orange. Sherbety is this is to me the key to doing a sherbet sunset. To getting those just unbelievable florals. Unbelievable French scenes. So if you're okay, we just work on a particular skill and give you guys a chance to digest it. On these more involved ones, we can do that. A little more of the red in there. I still have just that smidge of the pink. Playing with those. Awesome, awesome bright colors. They're like glazes that are transparent. Just putting down a little color as I need to, and I'm rinsing out my brush as I need to. Love these little crazy transitions. So much. So this is super bizarre down here. So if I were to take my ultramarine and my phthalo blue together, too much water on my brush, you know, and I get the start to maybe talk about this little bank, which I want to saturate up a little bit. I want to take into a further saturation so I can exaggerate the glow.
Yep.
Because art, sometimes I think about exaggeration. My new obsession of exaggeration, John.
Yeah.
You don't ever get on Instagram, but I have to for work. So the new thing that's trending is like these crazy makeovers from Asia where they take a girl that's supposedly tremendously ugly and through makeup technology make her like the most amazing looking girl in the world.
Sure.
But as an artist, I can literally see how they pre-contoured her and messed her up. It's like, just imagine all the movies from the 80s where the girl took down her ponytail and then she was like secretly beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Like, imagine if those people had used their powers for like abject evil. Right? So they've taken this gorgeous young girl and they've contoured her and they put like flippers in there that are crazy. Flippers are like a fake kind of teeth that they do for pageants. I only know that because I watched Toddlers and Tiaras when I was pregnant. It's not my fault. I was hormonal. So it was like a combination of that and all of the cop shows. So that's how John knows I'm pregnant. Toddlers and Tiaras, cop shows. Anyways,
It's true. Dun, dun.
Not really a problem anymore, but it used to be.
If I walk in and hear that dun dun, I like she has to take a pregnancy test.
Yeah, but not anymore.
Not anymore. We're just, we've had 3. We've done enough.
We've done enough. And I had Luna when I was like 41, 42. So I feel like I got it in there about at the cutoff date. You know how we're always late? I did that with the babies. So I don't even know where I was going. That was funny. Oh, so these makeovers, right? Like they make them crazy. And then they through makeup kind of remove the crazy that they did, and then they just take them to that pretty place, and then they're like, "Oh, look what you can do with jaw tape." And I'm like, I love jaw tape. I really should use jaw tape, but it's not that powerful. That's the most power. Okay, sorry. Things I think on my own. You guys don't even know. John has to hear it all the time. Especially like right at night when he's trying to fall asleep. Don, look at this Instagram picture. And I wanted to, for a while, do a show where I reacted to videos that I'm, based on being an artist, I'm pretty sure are totally fake. Or at least have been altered to be as misleading as they could be. But John said, no, that's not a good direction for the channel. We're trying to teach people how to paint. And I was like, well, that's probably true. I'm going to take a little of my Indian yellow over into this, and I'm going to mix it into that blue color I had, and go ahead and get some, of my mixing white. So the transition is not so bad, and we're going to start to glow up. Here, I'm going to tell you a little thing about painting sunsets, whatever sunset you're painting, and whether you're doing it in pastels or you're doing it in watercolor, or you're doing it in acrylic, is that where the sun is, you need to warm it up. You need to add yellow to that space. So the purples, everything that's sort of impacted by it should be warmed. Space, alien spacescape, sure, but definitely in this kind of a sense, you want to warm it up as much as possible. And that's what you see me doing here, is where these clouds are, I am making sure that that's as warmed as possible. And it just makes that not just the prettiest green. Oh, it's making me crazy. So pretty already. Who does not already just love this? Yeah,
I do.
I hope so, because this is really your patronage. So even though I'm treating myself, you guys are meant to love it. I don't try to do things you don't love. I'm going to go ahead and get a little of just the yellow and my white here. And I'm going to come underneath and maybe up the glow here. Get those cutie marks in the sky. Da, 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 da. And I'll just blend it out a little bit. It can be quite orange and deep as it goes towards these outer edges. But here you do want to have it be, a little more focal. That's how we're going to Disney up our... I feel like this and this could be blended more, so I may go back and visit that again in a second. Like you do. All right, let me see what's going on. All right. You're right on track with the love it factor, says Stephanie. Well, thank you. She's like being like, we're with you, we're with you.
You're pulling out your chat.
And then other people are like, wait, there was another lesson? Yeah. My thing is that we just want to make sure that if you're helping us do this stuff, that we're making it as worthwhile as we can, physically, without making ourselves crazy people, so that we can take care of some of these experimentations. I'm really wanting to spin up a kids program. Very much.
Yep.
Very, very, very much. This is part of me heading that way. I want to blend this here so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to come with this and the purple again and see if I can't get a good blend going, as you would want to. Titanium is super powerful. There we go. So I'm going to put this out a little heavier than I had it initially, because I just so want that blend. Now go ahead and get into this. And softly transition it, hopefully. Just want it to have a nice transition into the sky that's above it. And the best way for me to do that is work that wet into wet, which I think it's starting to do. Trying to get that softly worked. And then work this top of the sky a little bit into that there. Is that looking soft from where you guys are at? Are we softening that out enough? Yeah. We still just want it to be just like a psycho colorful sunset. We just... Now, well, I'm going to really have to work the moisture out of this. I know we're like in the sky for a half second, guys. I know. I'm going to go ahead and get my titanium white out, and then I will get my Indigo into that because we're going to also make sure that there's some of this lighter process in the sky. So the titanium white, as you know, is just so much more opaque. Its tinting strength is just off the chain, isn't it? It's always nice to get in there and pair that in there because that's going to then, boom! And then right here, I'm going to go ahead and kind of exaggerate this little space right here where I'm going to pop the sun. I like it. I like it. I like it.
You're so far back away. I'm not sure if you're stepping back to look at something.
I'm gonna step back and look at it for a second. Because again, that's what you got. You got to just keep stepping back and looking at that sunset. Like, where is it at? Like, have you leveled it enough? Because this is competitive space, man. But it is. I'm going to go ahead and put out some of my golden glazing liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to get into my titanium white. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this. Titanium white has a lot of drag. What we talk about in art is drag on the brush. Certain paint companies like Golden have more drag, even though they have that higher pigmentation. That's why it's nice to have companies like Acrylic or Holbein where the drag is lower. Get a little of my blending on there. Let's go ahead and level this up a bit. So what we're doing here is we're just kicking up the power of the pink. The power of the pink compels you. Another half mix that is amazing is Quinacridone Red with Quinacridone Crimson. Makes an incredible half mix. You know, things people don't really realize about some of these colors is that they'll do that. And then, you know, as we're getting further away from the sun, we darken those values. That pink gets deeper and richer, doesn't it? You could also gray it out, but we're trying to exaggerate what nature has offered us. To exaggerate it, we've got to take it to the next place. I don't want to take out all those wonderful oranges, but I want to show some of this popped pink. Ugh. Stiff and awkward stroke. Interesting growing up with a mom who paints. Because you get this, like, you watch a lot, if that makes sense. Like, I'm kind of familiar with y'all's experience because I didn't get lessons so much as I would sit in my high chair and watch, and then sit at my table and watch, and watched a lot. I think it took a little bit in, or two. I think it took a couple things in. I might have picked up on a few things.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
A little osmosis there, as you do. As you do. So definitely for the sun here, you know, you want to get the white into your brush. And let's come here and kind of do this really interesting half moon shape. Kind of like an upside down scoop. And I'll kind of exaggerate some of that there. Doing good, doing good. What are you guys feeling?
Let's see what they're feeling.
Oh, I can do that too. I got the phone. I'm going to stand back and look while they are discussing. Ask me stuff. You guys will get your exclusive crazy Q&A, so you guys are good.
Kids program would be good. I agree. I've got some kids program ideas. As I don't speak about them too much because, well, they're super secret. They're awesome, and I'm already working on them. And you know what? What I can say, Cinnamon, is there's a whole lot of really, really cool stuff that's happening in and around the Sherpadom that we're not talking about even to our patrons.
This is true.
And over the course of the next couple of months,
we will be.
More of it will come out as in due time. But we're trying to pull some real magical, cool stuff around here.
We are. I got to bring my thing over, and you can see how much I've splattered I'll have to reprint this because I've splattered it to death.
It's with coffee.
I'm not sure if it's. Yeah, that could be coffee.
I vote coffee.
Do you vote coffee? Oh, wow! I've got a crazy part in my hair today, and I didn't realize it till I saw it on the replay.
That's right. You got to part your hair.
I do.
That's fine. They have.
We have the camera on the wrong side of my head.
We'll move it.
We're moving.
We got to do some changes to the cameras anyway.
We're gonna change everything.
We're like I said, over the next couple of months, we're gonna be changing a lot of stuff in here. I want to change the camera layout. I want to make this little studio a little bigger for her. I want to blow the wall out.
I put out some Mars Black and some burnt sienna here, and I'm gonna just load that up onto my little detail brush. Start talking about my little ducks, maybe.
Those ducks, or are they geese?
Could be geese. Looks like geese. I'm going to be a little detailed, but I'm not going to be that detailed because that's.
They could be migrating pigeons.
The birds that doves love money too. I'm going to just do little tiny duck shapes here. My detail brush.
You're playing duck, duck, goose.
I'm playing something. It looks like they're actually ducks. So really try to just pay attention to the shape that I've got going on. You know, like the contour of it. I'm not going to try to paint every feather on the wing. I just want to capture, you know, maybe that duck got a little fat, but, you know, he's flying, so it's okay. He's in an active workout program. We're not going to be worried for him. And I see a green head, so these are mallards. We had mallards when I was growing up. We had ducks in our pond. My parents had gone to this, like, duck location where you got ducks, and we got a bunch of mallards because my dad really liked mallard ducks, and then we got this one white duck with kind of like a red mutant pattern on her head. It's like a lot like the chicken waddle.
Mm-hmm.
And so she ended up actually being the most capable of surviving our California coyote problem. Because coyotes really appreciate it when you put ducks in your decorative pond so much. They say thank you. Because we used to have to go out to eat, and thanks to you, we can stay home. So we had her, and she ate the mama eventually. The mama got ate by coyotes. And my dad had to teach all the ducks to fly.
Yeah.
That was an interesting thing. And no, it's not the movie. That was geese. And my dad never would have gotten me in a hang glider or an ultralight because I'm afraid of heights. He was already in enough trouble with my mom for strapping me to the parachute to test the parachute with the tractor. Because I told on him. With many descriptive words. So I'm just trying to put in these little duck shapes on this little V. Because I feel like they're sort of interesting little distant shapes on this. They add something to me. You'll notice that I just sort of tap out small amounts of paint and try to capture the broad strokes. in the shape of things, but I'm not doing a particularly perfect job here. Just getting these little broad strokes. Then when you get back from the broad strokes, you're like, oh, dude, those are really ducky looking ducks.
Ducky ducks.
Ducky ducks. Ducky duck, 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 duck.
Boy, that could go wrong on auto.
Oh, yeah, I gotta not do that again. The way it is now, they'll just take your channel down. They'll be like, no one may comment anymore. If you're wondering where the retreat is, that was another YouTube thing. They said we were live too long. We exceeded our live hours for not being a YouTube partner.
Oh, that's right. I had to reset it.
Yeah. Is it reset yet?
I think so. That's yeah, so if you guys know, we have that other, the Art Sherpa retreat broadcast live. Apparently we hit the number of hours required to become a partner or something, and they said you cannot broadcast live again until we verify you're a real person. Give us a phone number. So I gave them a phone number, and now they said, okay, give us a couple days and we'll get this going for you again. And so I'm waiting for them to give me a message saying I can act.
The craziness that is our lives. I like doing these little ducks. Do you guys like doing these little ducks?
Yeah.
You can see I just put a little, I like to do a little dot for the head, and then I pull the little neck back, and then I give it a little beak. And we'll just talk a little bit about some wings here. We're seeing in the spaces between. We had some geese. They could fly and do things. The geese were smarter than the ducks. They did not need as much help. And what was great is my dad gave me the chore of feeding the ducks, and then the geese, and then the geese decided I was part of their flock, and then he couldn't give me spankings anymore because the geese would attack him. And if you want to know if absolute power corrupts absolutely, yes, it does. Did I let those ducks go at my dad? Yes, I did. Different time. Putting these little wings forward. And you can see I'm just trying to capture their little shapes and a little bit of the value and the sense of it. When it's all done, it'll be quite powerful. And I think what's important here is when you're doing this, if you choose to do this painting with us, really catch the contour line. That is the outer outline of the shape. If you just capture that, you'll be okay. Woohoo, let's see how it went.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, we got a little bit together. I'll back up from that and look. There's only 7 in the chat. People left. Man. It's okay. Probably boring today.
It's just 21 for me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that different devices reveal things in different ways. So
Must be it.
yeah.
So this here coming forward. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, Mo is asking, John, can you send text when you release the secret stuff? Yeah, generally, if I can. If it's a way that I can notify you guys through that text system, I will. And especially as
long as you guys don't mind it too.
Yeah, and as we get the website technology going a little more, you'll be able to opt into things like that easier. Because it'll, like I was saying earlier, rather than me manually sending these texts out, and I say manually, I have a dashboard tool that does it, but
We were just excited we could send actual pictures of the patrons.
Yeah, but in the future,
we cannot afford to do that on the general text.
Right, no. But in the future, as we get this integrated into our website stuff, you'll actually put your phone number into the website, and that's how it'll know how to send the texts to you. So if you're a member of this particular group, you'll get these notifications, and every group will be notified when their stuff comes out. So that's kind of where we're trying to go, is that we're going to integrate the text messaging system into the website, so whenever we release new content for any of our patrons, they are all notified.
That's the goal. I'm taking a little bit of my tinting white and my Indian yellow, and just trying to make kind of a little low horizon glow. I'm trying to be all turnery on you, but I'm just trying to make sure this is got that atmosphere. Turner would have been crazy for acrylics. He would have dropped oils in a hand minute. He hated the challenges of oils and archival things, and he would have loved this whole, I can just slap paint on here and be done. Awesome!
Done.
He'd have been like, good. Biggest advocate probably for acrylics that there would have ever been. I'm just trying to make sure we've got a nice little lightness of being here. This is really quite pretty, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think at least I do want to get a bit of paint down here.
Right.
So I have my Phthalo blue here, and I have a little ultramarine blue, and I'm going to go ahead and get some green out, and I'm going to start the basis of what is my water, just by trying to get a kind of basic color on there. I'm not going to worry so much about the sand yet. Well, maybe I will, because I can do a really cool effect with the sand. That's so awesome. So maybe I'll worry about the sand early. Now, what's wonderful about the tape line is that gives me like this really crisp, like, horizon line I can always work with. And I'm sorry I'm right up in your space.
No.
But it's going to be good. Such a good guide. You can always tape the top. You can always dry and tape the top. And understand, I used to do pieces like this that were 4860. When I worked in my mom's studio, I had to do my paintings would be 4860. Because that we specialized in bigger statement pieces. So we are just having a mellow time. You guys don't even know.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the way I'm not super picky about each brushstroke. The reason for that is that I've just got to get a layer down. Added a small amount of water to the mix. I got to get this down so that anything I build on top of it will not be a problem. Abuse! Canvas abuse, brush abuse. There is somebody who posted in the Tazo group a brush of one of these that they have literally taken down to here from Acrylic April. I think it was a lady named Colleen. We all follow her. Colleen will know. The other Colleen will know. My Colleen will know. Mucci. I don't know how to say it, but I know who she is. I have a couple people in my group I keep track of. Callie Coleman, who's the blind art teacher. Kind of track her little posts. I find what she has to say very interesting, if not a little bit frustrating. Really don't get why people are not nice to people with disabilities. It doesn't make any sense to me. The weird anger that gets expressed in that towards that community just weirds me out. Cannot relate. But I love her experiences teaching kids and helping them realize their potential. And so I call her and Colleen, and I love to see Catherine Lyon's morning posts. I used to love Beth Furman's Levi posts, but she hasn't done those in a really long time because Levi passed.
Yeah.
That was really upsetting. Miss that. So that's a nice field of color. Yeah. All right. So, let me show you one cool thing for the sand, and then we'll break and meet up again.
Yeah.
That way you guys have a chance to watch this, look at the techniques, see what you can get out of them. I'll make sure I get a picture of this stage and, get it into the page, the video page.
Yep.
You can see that's, where we stopped. I find for my big art quest, this really helps people. And I think it would be very, very useful to you as well, in my belief right now, this moment. So let me know what you think of that.
They're loving this. This is awesome. This has turned out to be a really, really good.
Craig says he's anxious watching me work that brush. Oh man, dude, Craig, you have no idea.
Oh, this is awesome.
All right.
You're over there reading chat. I'm gonna mute you while you're. She's doing the hairdryer thing. No, this is cool. I love having you guys come and hang out and be able to see all this stuff, and it being a little more casual. Okay. So I'll just go over here and see. There she goes.
Thanks. Christy, the blue I was using was Phthalo blue, Phthalo green, and ultramarine blue mixed together, kind of 1-to-1. And Diane, the reason we haven't seen Brisby is he's not in the community anymore. We did not remove him.
He just didn't hanging out, posting here. He's good. Other thing.
But he's doing his own thing, and Brisby is good. I've heard from people that he's got his own page and calendar and adventures and YouTube channel.
There you go.
So that's what's going on. But we didn't do nothing to Brisby.
No.
Brisby is healthy and fine and had a girlfriend, and different things have happened. And I think Patty Hoffman's probably the most informed on any of that. So she keeps up on Brisby News.
So we got to get sand.
We're going to get some sand. And interestingly enough, we're going to get back into that purple that we did. And we're going to use our sponge, because I'll come back and I'll carve out the sand, but I want a certain kind of feeling and texture to this front sand. And there's this weird way I like to get it. So I'm going to show you what I do if I do have the stuff to do it. It's a little finger messy, but I like it.
Yeah. All right.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black and my brown and a Seasponge. And you can see that as I just tap over them and they tap together, they just do a nice mix. And I'm going to turn this to the side. I need a little bit of, the sand's going to be here kind of off the corner. It's just easier for me to do a big area and then paint some water back. Now I'm going to add a little of my yellow ochre into that, and you can see I'm tapping that up and down. Gets me a little yellow ochre, and I can come in and get a little white. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It already starts to do a thing. And then I'll rinse my sponge out a little bit, because I have I think that sky color would look really good. And to make sure I don't pick up too much of my under area here as I'm doing that, I'll dry it and then do it again.
Okay.
The big trick with this is what'll happen is you'll under gauge how much you need, and then you can't carve it out the way you want to. Just make sure you've got enough of it to carve it. Does that make sense?
I think so.
So that would be a big problem that you can
But
have, is you don't get enough of it to carve out.
Oh, would you put the wave in?
Yeah, because I got to put the wave in, and I don't want to not be able to
Not have enough peach.
Mm-hmm. That
Yes.
got a little bit. You have to do a really light tap. Like that got a little bit mushy there for my taste.
So I think mushy, she means how it blended it more rather than giving it more texture. So by mushy, you mean it blended it rather than giving it
Yeah, it
texture?
didn't have nice, clear, hard edges. Like that has nice, hard edges, but that got too soft an edge. So I'm going to make,
Hey,
storm.
So
Good timing on our part to go. Don had a feeling of a disturbance in the force. Let me go ahead and get some of my naphthals in there. It's an interesting purple color, isn't it?
It is.
And you would think, is that really belong there? And I promise you, it really, really does. Get that right in there. Maybe some of the darker purple too. And I'll put a little more of my navel's yellow out. Hopefully the stream does not just crash. But it's okay because we're going to see you again. So if it does, we'll just finish up whenever it does. So I'm going over where I had the purple so it picks up the pigment that's there, but I'm allowing it to be a much lighter mix, as you can see, because you're going to want some light little spots of sand. Tap, 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 tap. And I'm going to just press super lightly so that the sponge just leaves a bit of a texture. And then what's wonderful is I've got this underbase texture that's in there. All right, that's really terrific. And then I'll cut the wave in, and then I can glaze over it, and it'll give it such a three-dimensionality, it'll trip you out. So right now, it looks like this crazy angular mess that I just lost my mind in the middle of my painting and created. But what it is like once you realize, I kind of need this texture, I kind of need this effect, this is a great way to get there. And then I very carefully follow the perspective of the wave, and then I shade it, and then you're like, what? That's really sandy looking. I could also do this with splatter. The issue with splatter is then that's the first thing that I've got to do. If I want to do the splatter texture for sand, I have to do this first before I paint another thing. Otherwise, I have splatter everywhere. And I only want to have splatter in a lot of places when I'm doing the waves.
Yeah.
So you got, I'll rename this part 1. And I will figure out when we are free to do a part 2. And we'll just do the same text again, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, look, the system will run as it runs until I get it updated. And I cannot promise that unless you're in the appropriate area, that you're going to get the appropriate text. But for now, it's just going to work how it's going to work. And there's going to be a little slippage here and there, but it's going to get tightened up.
Weird line on my shirt. All right, go forward.
Oh, you want to go that one?
Yeah. Okay, that looks really good. I feel pretty good about this sunset. Where do you guys rate this sunset?
I like it.
In sunsets we taught on the channel. Do you feel like we kind of leveled up the sunset we were willing to do? That we've covered before, like this was like a kicked up thing. I want to make sure that we're kicking it up a notch, like Emerald would say. We go, bam, more art stuff. Bam, more colors. Bam, more exposure. Bam, more details. Good? Yes?
I like it.
Okay.
I'm ba-bam. Can I be more kapow?
I don't know. You can be anything if you clean the studio right now. I don't have to clean it up after this.
Yeah, I think I'm a little more Bruce Wayne kapow.
So Monday we will be in group doing our Q&A. I kind of got some suggestions I might go into for that Q&A. I might talk a little bit about design process and answer some questions about that. So that might be that Q&A.
All right.
Use some design stuff.
Book.
And then what?
Book club.
What about book club?
Remind
book
everybody.
Club is Thursday.
Yeah, remind everybody.
On Thursday is book club.
Yes.
We are on chapter Orange. It's really not that long of a read. Actually, it's the weirdest thing because I talked to my mom and I told my mom I was doing book club. She's on a cruise and she's doing her cruise stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, we're doing book club. And she's like, what book? And I'm like, that. And she's like, that book? I didn't like that book. And I'm like, that's like the best book I've read. So it was real interesting. She was like, well, it's your group. So if you want to do that book, do that book. And I was like, I do want to do that book, Mom. I do. But it's Victoria Finlay, Natural History of the Palette. I think it's fantastic and interesting. And it's like the Indiana Jones of art, telling you about how she figured out the history of all these pigments. I wish they made a Netflix show about her and like cast her with some like totally awesome act, like I don't know, Holly Hunter or somebody like incredible, like finding out pigments. And it's kind of like Eat, Pray, Love with pigment meets the wild. It's so cool. It's worth getting. Catch it up to Orange, which is the next chapter that we're doing. And then I think after that, I've got another YouTuber I know that's a writer, and I'm gonna see if she'd be willing to do have us like help pick the book and do a thing. Cool. Like, so we get some extra goodies. That is just in regular group. In patron group, for the Art Sherpa patrons, is our crazy weird Q&As where we get into it. So I think what we're going to do is talk about design. Does that catch everybody up on anything?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys be good to each other, and definitely be good to yourselves. I don't want to see you in a neasel really soon. Bye-bye.